Hey, what's going on, everybody? I pray that everything's well for everybody, that everyone's carrying on their day, and I hope all is well. Just want to take a little bit of your time, discuss a few points on the topic today of racial profiling. This topic is sensitive. It's a hot topic. You can see a lot of examples. You might see them day to day as you're going about your day. You might see it on the news with some of the crimes and some of the stuff that you see on the news today, the news feeds. But it's a topic that everyone has their own opinion. There's many definitions on it. So I'm gonna try not to make this video too long. I got this red folder. This is a small example of a profile. So in these profiles, for example, the police officer pulls you over, something small, they run your tags, they run your records, they look in your history and see if you have any prior tickets, you see if you have any warrants, you see if you have anything for the nationwide systems that they use, DMV. So the example is a profile. If you have any prior tickets, whether they passed a certain timeline and they fell off the record, whether if you have any prior history or any warrants, they run your driver's license, make sure the registration matches. That's called a profile. You can look in the website. Did a little small blog on building profiles. Using social media sites is another way. There's just plenty of ways to do it. So there's many definitions. Once again, doing a little studying. Mr. L. Darnell Whedon, he's with the Washington and Lee Journal of Civil Rights and Social Justice. It was just a little scholarly journal I was looking at. And the definition of racial profiling was race-conscious targeting. You gotta look at the keyword race conscious, right? So when you think of race conscious, you think of, for example, if you're in the neighborhood and you're walking down the street and you're in a neighborhood you're not supposed to be in, or they say you're not supposed to be in, and you get looks and you might get targeted because of your race, your clothes. You work around a certain type of clothing. If you're driving a certain type of vehicle, it's a lot of examples of where people racial profiling. Some of those things stem from prejudice, right? So everyone has their prejudices. People have their preferences. There's a lot of different ways prejudice can be started. I have another definition that I was looking at as well. Mr. Whedon also says prejudice, the basis of racial profiling, in my opinion, is a stereotypical perception that people identified with are expected to perform the kinds of crimes that are labeled. So the key word I highlighted was expected. So again, you're walking down the street, African-American male walking down the street, and you're going somewhere you might not even, you just probably going to a store, or you're going wherever you're going, you're in a nice neighborhood, and you're walking down a mall area, real upper class malls, some malls that got a lot of nice stores in them. And you're people that see you and they think they're expecting you to steal, they're expecting you to rob, right? So prejudices, that comes from the upbringing, they can come from experience, from dealing with different situations and scenarios. There's a lot of people prejudice are tailored, in media is a big thing, but the prejudices are tailored to experiences and upbringings. So when you think of racial profiling, it is targeted to a certain race. Fortunately, it's a normality. It's just like it's expected to happen. It's guaranteed that these crimes are going to happen. So this is the whole point of this video, and for racial profiling, is give people a knowledge on what is racial profiling. What examples can be used? Is you can go in and Google all the news feeds and see it. How can we once we know what it is? How can we stop? How can we prevent this stuff from happening? How can we change the idea of, okay, this officer sees me walking down the street in a hoodie, or sees me walking down the street late at night in a high class area? I might be trying to do anything. I'm just trying to get to where I'm going. I might be going to work. Who knows what I'm trying to do? But I'm targeted because of my race. I'm targeted because why should I be in this area? Why can't I be in a nice class area at a certain time of night? Why I have to be targeted? So this is a perception that we need to try to change. And you got to think about what are we doing? The challenges. Ask yourself, are you contributing to the prejudice by liking these videos? Are you contributing to the prejudice by filming this stuff instead of if you got two students fighting in the school, instead of you recording it, let's go and break the fight up. Why you have to record it? Why you have to put it on World Star and Instagram? Why is it got all these views and all these likes? The news, the shootings. If you see something going on, do something about it. Don't sit there and continue to let it fester and let it go on. It's a personal experience. I've dealt with it. Station, Virginia Beach. I was on my way to a church event, and I wasn't speeding. I wasn't breaking any laws. I had my seatbelt on, and I was followed for at least 20 minutes. Coming from my house, followed. Wasn't going fast. 25 miles an hour speed limit. Just being safe on the street. Wasn't speeding. Going, made a left at the light, kept it going, and next thing this officer follows me. He's been following me for the last 20 minutes going to my destination. And I'm thinking, okay, what are you trying to do? What are you running my tags? So I ended up getting pulled over for it. I thought, in my opinion, this type of car I drove wasn't like a nice looking car. It was a Mercury Sable 2002, and so it's a regular car. And I feel like in a certain neighborhood I was in, he pulled me over. That's just my opinion. And then I was pulled over, and then he was, hey, registration, driver's license, cool, calm, collected, gave it to him. And then he says, we can't find your tags. They say, is your car stolen? And I said, no, my car's not stolen. If you take the VIN number and you get my registrations right here, you got my insurance card, you got my driver's license, you got everything you need, you should be able to pull it up. So he says, well, the Georgia DMV isn't showing your license and registration in the system. And again, when I'm angry, I'm trying to profile, assuming because my car, the way it looks, and you assuming that I stole the car. When you can just basically take the VIN, if you can't even pull the system up, you can take your VIN number and you match it with your registration. You see my name on there, the car's mine. You don't even need the DMV database for that. You look at the VIN, you look at the registration, the VIN matches cars, and my name is on the registration. The car is mine. So eventually, once I told him how to, let him know, hey, this is what you got to do or whatnot, or they have him check, and then he said he pretty much let me go. So it goes again to knowing what you got to do. And calm, cool, collected. That's another thing I think would help is not being so angry. For me, if someone pulls you over, I got a little angry about it, but I said I had to be calm, cool, collected. I don't want to ignite anything. It was two officers, one on my right, one on my left. You know what I'm saying? I think the guy was new. I think he was doing field training. But he, calm, cool, collected, gave him what he asked for. And that's how it went down. I didn't start anything. Sometimes, I don't know how the officer he wasn't like upset or anything at me. I was just let him know, hey, this is what, if you can't find it, this is the VIN, this is your registration, you matched it to. You shouldn't, even if the database was down. So it was, so that's just my personal experience. It's one of many, but it's one of my experiences recently happened that you got to be able to be calm, cool, collected. I think with the schools programs, I think that in my opinion, I think the curriculum, we got civics. I had civics when I was coming up in high school, college level. They have a lot of stuff, but I think they should, in high schools and middle schools, they should put courses like civics and criminal procedure a little bit. Maybe in the high school more towards the senior level before they go to college, a couple criminal procedure courses. So this stuff can be explained. Some of this stuff should be explained. Civics, they talk about the amendments, they talk about the founders, and talk about the foundation of the United States and all that good stuff, which is good. You need to learn your amendments, learn your Bill of Rights, learn what freedom of speech and all that and so forth. But I think that we should, put this in high school so students can have an understanding of this stuff. That's not, okay to contribute to the stigma. I think when people don't really understand what they're watching or what they're putting on these social media sites, what they're promoting in these schools, I think it'll kind of start changing the trend to where, hey, you can't act this way in front of the school resource officers. And I mentioned this before in the previous video. And I think too, with the building of community trust, building that relationship especially with the youth, is I've seen something interesting. And when I was in college, it was called a PAL, Police Athletic League. They might have similar things in different states, but that organization where police officers take their time to volunteer, to go to the communities, to hey, go to these kids and say, hey, I'm not here to do these things to you. I'm here to help, and play ball with them and get involved and do classes and do volunteer events, do some type of mentorship. And showing that presence, that face-to-face presence there to say, hey, I'm here for you, here to help build you, get them encouraged to go to school. Hey, if you check on them, I'm saying, hey, how are you doing in school? How are your grades? When it's time for them to go to college, be in their lives. So these organizations and these establishments with the athletic leagues and with these community events, this stuff builds. This stuff shows presence. When you see face-to-face time with the officers and that shows the community that they're involved. They show this community that they care. And more likely, 9 times out of 10, if something does happen, they'll be able to, hey, I'll call officer such and such because I know he was there. I know he'll handle it. I'll call officer such and such because I know he cares about me in the community. Just want to talk about this little no snitch stuff. So again, I mentioned again, if you see someone killed, it's kind of crazy. I understand you in gangs and these gangs out here and stuff like that, and they got this code where you don't want to tell if something happens, or more or less, or that you kill my friend, or you kill my brother, or you kill somebody that I care about. I'm gonna handle it myself. I'm gonna go in here and do this stuff and take care of the person that did it. You know what I'm saying? When you do that, that does nothing but add to the problem. The police are there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't want to trust the police, and again, I understand. Because again, when these police, and there's a video I posted on my webpage where officer again violates that trust. So when you see stuff like that, you think, why should I trust the police at any point? But again, this is empowered to say, hey, everybody's not bad. Because everything's a situational too. Everybody can see what you can see behind the glass, right? And you think, okay, I see it one perceived way, but then you're not really there. So again, it gets so many details that could have been left out that led up to that escalation, that deadly force shooting. It led up to that arrest. It led up to that police brutality case or excessive force. So we don't know what really happened. A lot of time the media, they take and cuts bits and pieces, and they could portray that it could have happened that way, but then again, it might have been something else added to it. That's what the media is. That's why you got to do more research than just the news, because it's probably more to the details of the story. But the no snitch policy. We got to understand that if something happened, if something happened to one of my loved ones, you know what I'm saying. And I know at first it's hard to say I wouldn't. If something happened to me, one of my loved ones, I would be able to go do something about it to the person that did it, because every person feels that way. But at the end of the day, that's where you tell the police. Even if it's someone you not a loved one, someone you just something happened, you see it. You down the street, you see a crime committed. You want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to report it, say something. It's no snitch. I don't want to say nothing. I'm handling myself, or I don't want to say nothing. It ain't my business. That's why the stuff happens. Get out this no snitch. Creating the stigma and continue to push the stigma is not helping. This no snitch stuff, say something. Is an officer that you trust, hey, I seen this crime, I seen this happen. This is stuff to think about, man. Racial profiling is a real issue, and it takes more than knowledge. It's one thing to know, but actually get out there and do something about it. Get involved. Let's start with our youth and teach them early. Let's teach them early to get involved. And not only community service, but also know our laws, know what we got to do. I've said this 1,000 times. A quick recap for those that probably missed everything. We talked about racial profiling. We talked about a couple of definitions. I'm going to put the links inside the webpage. So if you go to the webpage, you can look at the links. You can click on the articles. You can click on the scholarly articles if you want to read them, get yourself up to speed. And again, the key is one of the things I said, race-conscious targeting. That's from the scholarly article by L. Darnell Wheaton. Is again race conscious. So you think of a race, you think of African Americans, you think of Asians, you think of Hispanics, you think of Muslims. That a lot of Muslims are being targeted. They think they're out there doing these terrorist attacks, and so every Muslim that you see, you think, oh my God, they got a suicide bomb. It's a lot of prejudice and profiles. So it ain't just African Americans. If you got a white person in the neighborhood, they ain't known, they're just there. They want to know why they're there. They could be a undercover cop. It's a lot of perception. If you're in a neighborhood, you shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? You white, it's racial profiling. Why are you here? You ain't here to, if you ain't, buying drugs, you're not there to, you undercover cop, or you're just there. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So race conscious targeting. Like I said, check out the links and the sources. I'm putting a lot of links in there and put a lot of different resources in there you can read and like I said, get knowledge. Once again, you learn this stuff, it's fine. Share this video. Share these links with someone that you know. Pass the stuff on so people can get aware, because it's not going to get any better. You see this stuff every single day. Every time I turn around the news, I see someone's getting killed, someone's getting shot, and this stuff is spiraling out of control. We have to pass this stuff on. We have to educate. The churches, we have to put this stuff out. We have to go out there and put this stuff out. When we're doing outreach and we're going out here talking to these people, we're talking about Christ, And we also talking about what can we do to help. So let's set up these events. Let's set up different stuff so we can go out there and do it. So we can let people know. And I also another side point real quick. If you're a believer in Christ, I ain't talking about a fake Christian. I ain't talking somebody who say a Christian. They're actually a believer, a true disciple. This is the stuff we should get involved in. Getting involved in politics is key. You know, police reform. It don't have to be what I'm doing. It could be, you know, gun control. It could be educating and teaching and employing our veterans. You know, they get out the military. There's socioeconomic crises out here. There's so much abortion. There's so much stuff out here we could be getting involved in. If you're a true believer, this is stuff that we got to pay attention to. This is stuff that we have to speak out on. And there's plenty of scriptures to back it up. Just a little sidebar. Just a side note. Let's get involved into our politics. Let's make a change. Let's watch the news. Don't just be a bystander. Like I said, please comment. First couple of videos, so I'm just starting, so might be a lot of different things that you might not see that's different. As the videos get on, I'll get better. But please share this stuff. Pass it on to someone else. We got to continue to push this movement. There's a lot of stuff that's out here, a lot of material, a lot of resources, and I'll keep up with that as fast as I can to put stuff out there. Continue to show you our resources, new ones from time to time. Do your own research. If you think I'm wrong, do your own research. Look it up. Google. There's scholarly journals. There's articles that are out there that'll definitely clean it up. So thank you for your time. Be blessed. Stay tuned because I have another video coming out soon. And the links will be in the links will be in the bottom below. Have a good day.